This is video 5 on a series of videos on robustness. We're now looking at number 5. So this is removing additional characters. So again, we're going back to the capitals quiz game program. In the last two videos, we've made it so the user can enter in lowercase and they still get the point. And we've also allowed them to accidentally put spaces either at the start, the end, or as well in the middle of the string. And this doesn't affect how the program checks whether or not the answer was right. So now, perhaps you may think this is too lenient, but we can add in some additional checks so that if for some reason the user accidentally puts in some numbers into their program, into the program, then the program is able to kind of detect that and kind of spot that the correct answer was still in there. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to add a little loop, and we're going to loop over the letters in their guess. And again, we're going to use replace. And we're going to replace something called unwanted character. And we're going to replace it just like we did with the space, and we're going to get rid of it. And the way that we're going to kind of, in fact, I'm not going to call that unwanted character, I'm just going to call that letter, and we're going to do a little conditional statement that checks whether the letter is one that is valid to be inside the variable guess. So if you think about it, when we have the names of countries or the names of capitals, as far as I'm aware, none of them have special characters in, other than possibly will allow an apostrophe, that's in some, but none of them have numbers in or percentage symbols, etc. So what we will do is we'll make the program detect whether one of those kind of unwanted or illegal characters are present in the string, and if they are, we're going to remove them. So the method we're going to use is if not letter is alpha. So what that does is it returns true if the character is an alphabetical letter. So if it returns false, then what will happen is that the program has detected that it's either a special character, a white space character, or something other, or a digit. If we invert that using the Boolean operator not, then we're going to get this happening when we find one of those illegal characters. So I'm just going to put in that extra functionality. So let me just, in fact, I'm going to test it first. So now hopefully when we say Bucharest, but also put in, for some reason, some special characters, and they can go anywhere in the string and it still shouldn't affect it. So what the program will do is it will loop through each letter with the for loop. If it finds one of these characters, using the replace method, it will just get rid of it. Okay. Good, so Bucharest was in there somewhere and the program was able to detect that. So I don't have any kind of capitals on my list that have an apostrophe in. I just want you to imagine, for some reason, if Barcelona's capital, Spain's capital was Le Barcelona, like this. So it's perfectly valid for maybe the name of a place to have an apostrophe in, and also perhaps a hyphen as well. So we want to make it so that the program can kind of omit those. So we're going to put an extra check in, so we're going to say if letter not in, and then my valid characters are going to be, so we will allow hyphens, and we will allow apostrophes. So again, just using the not operator. So at this point, we've got a conditional statement nested inside another conditional statement nested inside a for loop. So just to reiterate, this is looping over the letters inside the string, inside the guess variable. It checks that the letter, if the letter is alphabetical. If it's not, it continues. And then this checks if the letter is in my kind of allowed special characters. And if it's not, it continues. So if it gets to this point, it's validated that the letter we're looking at currently is not an alphabetical character and neither a hyphen nor an apostrophe. So let's just test if that works. So I can't think of something to test with. Can anyone think of a country that has a hyphenated capital? Okay, we're going to make something up, I think. So, example land is the name of the country, and their capital is example land dash city. And in order to make sure that my program gets that first one, rather than getting, how am I doing this? I'm just going to remove my shuffle and that should work. So now we're just going to make one last test to make sure that this part of the program has worked. Oops, I accidentally closed the list. Just close it so you can see it. So we can see that it's working, so remove the shuffle, so therefore it just picked the first one. And the capital of example land is example land hyphen city, is that right? Yeah. Okay, so it validated that. So if we didn't have that in, and let's just try it again. So because isAlpha will return false, so this will become true when we get to the hyphen, it's not going to work as expected. So let me just show you with that removed. So example land dash city. So you see we lost the life. So we need that check-in to make sure that we're still allowing for any kind of special characters that are sometimes present in capital countries. So this is perhaps a bit more of an advanced example, but something else that you can do to make the program easier to use for the user, avoiding kind of logic errors. So they're getting the right answers in this quiz, and we need to forgive them for accidentally adding extra detail that isn't wanted.